This is Joe Hendricks with WSLR Community Radio in Sarasota. I am pleased to be speaking with Tim Stoltenberg, part of the Second City National Touring Company, the famed comedy group whose alumni include Tina Fey, Stephen Colbert, Gilda Radner, and many, many, many more. A lot of folks who made their way to Saturday Night Live. The Second City Company has been around for 50 years, and we are pleased to be talking to one of the current members of this long-standing comedy improv group. Tim, welcome to WSLR.
Thanks for having me.
So for folks who are not familiar with Second City, tell them what they will see if they come out to the Asolo Theater Sunday or Monday to see you guys in action.
Well, first of all, you're going to see a great comedy show. Second City, like you said, has been around for 50 years, and through the 50 years, our goal is to write sketch comedy and do improv that sort of reflects what's going on and issues that are happening with modern day, and also reflect on issues that happened in the past. So the show has some great current views on it of things that are happening nowadays. Definitely a good laugh, definitely audience participation, and something I don't think you see a lot of. So it makes us unique with that.
Now, when you guys are performing, do you have it all worked out ahead of time? Is there a lot of making it up on the spot factor involved in this? How does all that work?
Well, twofold. We have scenes that are definitely that we memorize and rehearse beforehand, and then we have improv scenes that will go to the audience and say, hey, what's your favorite color? Or what did you do last weekend? And that suggestion fuels the scene. And also it's live theater. And just when you think something's going as planned, something else happens, and you got to be able to adapt and change it up. So anything can happen.
So how long have you been involved with Second City?
I've been touring about 1.5 years, and I've been with the company about 2.5 years.
We mentioned some of the famous people who have come through Second City, got their start at Second City. What does Second City provide for young comedians and comedians on the rise?
Well, definitely the opportunity to perform in front of people, and I think as a comedian, as an actor, that's the best way to test out material and ideas is to get in front of an audience, and sometimes your idea works awesome, and sometimes it falls flat and no one laughs. But that's the great thing about it, because you get to test and see what works and what doesn't. I think if you listen to people who have gone on to do other things, Tina Fey and people like that, when they talk about Second City, they talk about how it's a place for young comedians to test and try out ideas. And you develop these skills of being in front of an audience and writing and new ideas that you take and use in whatever you do after Second City.
How long do people usually stay associated with Second City before moving on to what's next in their career?
You know, it depends. Some people, a year, and they go and do something else. Other people have been here for more than 4 or 5 years. I think it all depends on how you use Second City. Some people come in real quick, get what they need, and move on. Other people give a lot back to Second City. You know, after you're there a couple of years, you sort of become a veteran, and you can help new people with the ideas and how to do this and how to do that. So both are very important to the company.
Do the famous former members of Second City ever come back and visit you folks?
Yeah, they pop up now and again. The main stage show, which plays Tuesday through Sunday in Chicago, and every once in a while, some people will pop up, and we have what's called the third set, which is completely improvised, and they'll jump up and jump into that show. So you get to see pretty famous people up there. And a lot of times people come back just to visit, or they come back and they'll do a workshop or a class on writing or acting or whatever they have to offer to get back to Second City.
Tim Stoltenberg, what is your role in Second City?
Well, it's an ensemble, so we each have our own little, I would say, niche that sort of creates the show. You know, and each team is different, and every improv is always different. So hopefully, when you see this show, you'll see that each person is dramatically different. You're like, oh, wow, they can do that, and they kind of do this. And I don't want to spoil anything, because that's part of the fun of seeing what happens in the scene. So hopefully, I bring something different.
How does one get involved in Second City? I would imagine there's a pretty stringent audition process.
Yeah, they have auditions usually for, I would say, just general auditions. And they get people from all over the world, actually, coming to Chicago to audition. So you audition sometimes more than once to get noticed, and they definitely look at what you do outside of Second City. If you have another improv show, if you're in a play, if you have another sketch show, they want to see what you can bring to the table as an artist. So yeah, it's competitive. But that's good because it makes you work so much harder.
We have been speaking with Tim Stoltenberg. He is part of the Second City National Touring Company. He also performs regularly at the Second City venue in Chicago. He is in Chicago as we speak, catching a flight to Sarasota for performances Sunday and Monday at the Asolo Repertory Theater. The performance on Sunday April 17th, will be at 8 p.m., and there will be 2 performances on Monday, April 18th, 4 p.m. and 8 p.m., and that is at the Asolo Theater. If you need more information, you can visit oslorep.org, or you can call the box office at 941-351-8000. And if you've been listening to WSLR, you know that the Asolo Repertory Theater has been kind enough to donate 4 sets of tickets to either of the Monday performances for a donation of $96.50. You can go see Tim and the rest of the cast of the Second City National Touring Company. Tim, any final thoughts before we let you go?
I guarantee it'll be a good time, and you'll definitely have some laughs.
Tim Stoltenberg, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
This is Joe Hendricks reporting for WSLR 96.5 LPFM, Sarasota.